Hello there, welcome back. So as I said in the last session, we are going to talk on two frameworks, okay, and how these frameworks are going to be at a high level. I'm going to demonstrate basically into this particular session, okay. So it might not be exactly as it is, but yeah, 90% of the time it is going to be almost same. But a few times it depend on the application. You might have something extra to validate, okay. So yeah, so let's see. So the very first thing I have into my framework is my application under test, okay. So as I said into my last session, I'm going to talk about two frameworks, right? So for basic session, for basic framework, basically I'm having some application called as insurance calculator, okay, and I'm going to develop a framework on insurance calculator. For second, I have some application uh, which is project management application, okay, and which is going to be kind of a very good framework. It is going to have some DB validation and many other different things, okay. So yeah, so these are my application under test. I'll walk you through both the application as and when it is required, but yeah, the very first thing I have in my framework is application under test. Now uh, now you must be knowing, right? So in order to interact with any of the web element, we need something called as locators, right? So what we do is we extract the locators and we put them into uh, they depend basically how you are developing your framework. So few guys, they try to put all the locators into one class, they define it as a static and call them from there. I personally prefer using page object model, right? So we are going to put all the locators page by page into different classes, which we call it as a page object factory, okay. Now once we have created all the locators into the same classes, we are going to create a method, okay, respective methods basically, and by calling those methods and some common methods, for example, I need to read the properties file. Common method, I need to let's say select value from drop down. I'll be having, let's say, 20, 30, 50 drop downs on my application, right? So I cannot write every time select os is equal to new select and pass the web element. No, that's not feasible. So I will create one common method and I'll be calling that. For selecting radio buttons, for, let's say, for connecting to the database, I need common method. For capturing screenshot, I need common method, right? So we will be creating lot many common methods and put them under some package called as common methods. So we'll be calling methods from common method package and object repositories, and again we will be reading the data from properties file, where we'll store data, for example my URL or some credentials, DB credentials, Unix credentials, or whatever, okay. So we'll see what and all parameters things we need to make, we can put them into properties file. Apart from this, we are going to read the data from Excel, right? So we cannot hard code the data, so most of the time we will be reading the data from Excel spreadsheet, okay, that we call it as a test data, right? And all these things, that is all my test cases, page object model, common method, properties file, external data source, test data, everything we will be combining together into something called as TestNG framework, right? So this TestNG, basically it gives me good ability to create number of test cases, to execute the test cases, provides the better control on executing the test cases by creating number of testng.xml. It provides me a lot many assertions and lot many things it does provide, right? So we'll be talking about few of them, right? And then we are going to create everything from the first session using Maven project, okay. What are the advantages? If you don't know, we'll talk about that, but this is something which we have at a high level, right? And once we have defined this complete uh, let's say objects, we are going to put them into GitHub repository. On GitHub repository, it could be, say, there are lot many source code management tools, right? So like SVN, GitHub, I prefer using GitHub, okay. SVN is also good, open source. GitHub is also, nowadays it is kind of open source, they are even allowing private repository to be free of cost, okay. I prefer using GitHub. So we'll put our complete code on GitHub, okay. And once the code is completed, what we'll do is we'll schedule the test execution, Okay, so scheduling of test execution happens via Jenkins. Okay, so I'll be demonstrating about Jenkins as well. Now, in real time, we do the execution on Selenium Grid. So whenever we trigger any test cases, let's say schedule it from Jenkins, it will read the data, it will read the code from GitHub, it will clone it into Jenkins server, and from there, it will execute the test cases, however, whether one by one or parallel execution, however we are scheduling. Okay, and in real time, ideally the execution should happen on Selenium Grid. Okay, so I spoke about one point, right? So in the very first framework, basic framework, we are not going to we are not doing any parallel execution. And in the second framework, the most important part is we are doing parallel execution, right? So when you say parallel execution, it is not something like we are just adding the thread count into testng.xml and it will work. No, there are a lot many different things we need to do, right? We cannot have driver static as a driver, we cannot have single driver, we need to make it as a thread safe. Then if we are using extend report for reporting, even that we need to make it a thread safe. Data, we need to make that as a thread safe, right? So a lot many different things are there. So those things we are going to talk in advanced framework, second framework basically. Okay, coming back to the framework structure. So yeah, so once we schedule it, the test cases execution will happen on Selenium Grid. As soon as the execution gets completed, we are going to integrate basically a extend report into our code, basically test automation code, right? So once the execution is finished, it is going to produce something called as extend report. There are again different types of report. By default, Selenium do not have any reporting capability, so we use TestNG's reporting capability, but those reports are not pretty good, so we use something called as extend report. Okay, there are few more reporting types which we will be I'll be just talking about the names, but in detail we will talk about extend report. So once the execution is finished, it will generate something called as extend report. It will capture the screenshots of failed test cases. So like okay, so let's take a real time scenario. I got the build from my developers. Okay, and I have some, let's say, thousands of test cases, and it takes almost 8 to 9 hours for execution. So what I'll do is I will trigger the execution. Let's say my evening time, I'll start my execution, and before tomorrow I reach to office or tomorrow I log in, I should see email into my mailbox stating test execution is finished with so and so status. Could be failed, could be passed, and if it is failed, why it is failed, we will definitely get into the external report. But yeah, the screenshot again we will get into our mailboxes. That is how we are going to configure, and that's how it works in real time as well, real time industry. Okay, logging is also important, but as a part of test automation framework, we do not prefer much logging nowadays. Earlier, logging was bit important using Log4j and all, but now since we are using extend reports where we can do again detailed logging, right? So we can combine logging in extend report itself. So we may not use Log4j, which was bit required, bit trending earlier days, like couple of years back, but not nowadays. Okay, but from developer point of view, yes, logging or using log4j or whatever logging mechanism they use, that is pretty important. Yeah, and as I said, we will be getting email notification once my execution is finished. We'll get the email notification along with extend reports and fail test case screenshots into the attachment. Okay, we might do something different as well. So let's say if my test cases are failing, as soon as my test cases is failed, it should go and create defect into Jira. Okay, that integration as well we can do. Okay, so let's see, if time permits, maybe I can include that into my advanced level framework. Okay, Jira integration. So as soon as any test case is failing, automatically it will go into Jira and it will create the defects for failed test cases. Okay, in real time, few people do use, but I do not personally prefer it. Why? I'll tell you again when we talk about that particular part. Okay, so this is how my framework is going to be. It's not exactly same it is going to be, but yeah, it all depends on the application, but most of the time it is going to be something like this. Okay, so now why I covered this here is just to get you the idea, like what and all we are going to talk and how the frameworks works in real time. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Stay tuned. So I'll start development of framework from next video. Thanks.